Deontay's in Thailand, as we all know. Y'all got y'all live show tomorrow. This is Hurd Jackson. Y'all get to put the face with the name, man. And I didn't know it was him, but we actually had a great conversation. So that goes to show you that we both have great character because we were both perfect strangers to one another. And he walked up to me and he said, well, how did I have to fight? My initial impression was, I'm comfortable with it being a draw. And you said you thought Wilder won, correct? Now break that down for us.
So I thought Wilder's activity in the early rounds did enough to win the close rounds because they were close. Fury looks cute with how he's moving around, shooting his jab, very jittery. I think some of the fans and some of the judges might have been swayed by that. Every time he would throw punches and Deontay would catch them, but the crowd would react regardless. So that may have skewed the perspective from the fan or from even some of the judges. But I thought Deontay did solid work in the early rounds. I think he landed the harder shots, the more telling punches, in my opinion. And if you put that with the two knockdowns, I thought he won the fight. I don't think Tyson Fury had a stretch where he just won like 4 or 5 consecutive rounds. I mean, there were some rounds that were close, but I thought Deontay did enough to win the fight. I do, however, think a draw is fair. There were some rounds that were kind of hard to tell, like, who won the round, but it was a good fight. It was a great fight. And both guys, I think, showed tremendous heart because how Tyson Fury got up is still beyond me in that second knockdown. But people also got to realize this too. With Tyson Fury, his style, very, very slick defensive and outweighing Deontay by 50 pounds. You got to think that's hard for Deontay to knock the man down, not once but twice. So people got to look at that too. It was a great fight.
Moving forward, would you want the immediate rematch or would you try and consolidate with Anthony Joshua? Attempt to consolidate, I should say, would be a better word.
We talked about it, and you made a great point off air, but I would rather see Deontay fight Joshua now. To me, like Wilder and Fury, having seen it, it's like the main course. It's like Thanksgiving dinner, and I want to see that at the end for like all the marbles. So that's my reasoning behind it. Not saying it's going to happen or even if it makes sense, but that's just as a fan, that's what I want to see.
Now, moving forward, so let's say, assume that he fights, Deontay Wilder fights Anthony Joshua. Who wins that? Let's sit down. Let's sit down and have this conversation.
For sure.
How do you see that fight taking place, Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder?
Heading into the fight, I actually had Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury as guys that would beat Anthony Joshua. That has not changed after watching this fight. I don't think Anthony Joshua has the upper body movement or the footwork to avoid Deontay Wilder's right hand. At some point, he's going to get caught. Anthony Joshua is very technical. He has a great jab. I think he's a great offensive fighter, but he's too stiff for me.
Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua, yeah, too stiff. Deontay is very athletic, very unorthodox and awkward, as is Tyson. I think they'll use that to their advantage.
How about Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua?
Oh, he makes him look dumb. Like we talk
about, man. Yeah. That would be, you talk.
He'll box circles around him. I mean, he's bigger than him. He has better upper body movement, better footwork, whatever. He just pick him apart all night. He'll have Anthony swinging at air, in my opinion. And I think even before we get to that fight, from the mental perspective, Tyson Fury will have a field day with him because he'll bring up the fact that he beat Klitschko first. He'll build up the fact, and you saw it tonight, I fought the man that you're not willing to fight. And I arguably won. You know, worst thing was a draw. So, I mean.
What's the, okay, let's change subjects a bit. Jared Hurd versus Jamel Charlo.
Man, that's a tough one. Initially, when people started talking about the fight, I picked Jamel. But after watching what Jared Hurd did against Arizandi Lara, and then watching Jamel's last performance against Austin Trout, I'm leaning towards Hurd. I think his activity will overcome and withstand whatever Jamel can do. Jamel sometimes has a habit of freezing and not being as active as he needs to be. I think we saw that when he fought Austin Trout. There were moments where Trout would feint him a certain way, give him certain angles, and he would just look for that one shot. And you can't do that against Jared Hurd. I mean, it's different styles, obviously, but I think the more we see Jared Hurd fight, he shows more dimensions to what he can actually do. He's a very big junior middleweight. I think he walks around like around 180 something, 190 something. He's a
Hurd, right?
Yeah, very big dude. I think he's more crafty than we give him credit for. And you got to sit here and think he's been getting fights against Arizona Laura, getting that experience. Someone who's trained and sparred with Jermell Charlo. I mean, Tony Harrison, he fought him. Austin Trout, I think he fought a better version of Austin Trout. I think he looked better against Austin Trout, even though Austin Trout, had his moments early in the fight. He stopped him. So I lean towards Jarrett Hurd.
I'm eager to actually see that fight because I want to see both these fighters go in deep water, especially a Jermell Charlo. Like, I'm real curious to see is what he do outside the ring. Is it a show? And because he's obviously famous now, and does that fame turn into grit? Because we know, I believe that he has the grit, Hurd, and I have question marks whether Charlo has grit. Can you elaborate on the grit, the intangibles, as it relates to Jermell Charlo?
That's the question. Like, so when he fought Austin Trout, I mean, he did enough to win, but he wanted the knockout. He wanted to look more impressive. I think there's certain things that he had to do when you make that sacrifice as a fighter, where maybe you're not looking how you want to look as far as being cool or from a technical standpoint, but you're doing what you got to do to win the fight. We've seen that with Deontay Wilder when he fought Luis Ortiz. He had to do different things, make adjustments in order to knock him down and knock him out ultimately, get that victory. And you can see him trying to do that with Tyson Fury. That's what resulted in that 12th round knockdown. So, I mean, there's certain fighters that would do that. Floyd Mayweather's another guy. Andre Ward is another guy. They'll do whatever it takes. When Andre Ward fought Sergey Kovalev, the first fight, he got knocked down in the second round. He's fighting the big bully. The dude has amazing power, very technical fighter, very good 1-2, controls range. Andre Ward had to get behind, or he had to overcome his jab, overcome the range, take it to territory that Kovalev did not feel comfortable with, go to the body, but he understood while doing that he risked getting hit and getting flipped. But it doesn't matter if you're a true fighter, you're a true champion. You got to make whatever adjustment necessary to overcome it.
Let me ask you another question.